are back for the F1 Challenge Career Mode today, tackling the famous Brazilian circuit, where the weather can be changing at a click of a finger and mixing up the race. Of course, we have the slowest car in the grid. Can we win the race, or will we fall short? Let's get straight into the action, and let's find out. Brazil, the track that almost certainly brings a good race on the F1 calendar. I'm very much looking forward to this one, as we're normally starting off by showing the R&D performance comparison chart. Us at the bottom, Red Bull at the very top. Of course, all our facilities are shut down, so we cannot upgrade the car at all. And looking at the Driver Championship in touching distance of P2 and fighting off Aston Martin for P5 in the Constructors' Championship as well. With that being said, let's hit the track. Lining up for another sprint mode race weekend. Typically, they have gone quite well for us, so I'm very excited for this one. We are here for the sprint race qualifying session. As you can see, it is going to be remaining dry for the entirety of the weekend, as it actually seems as well. Let's see what we can do. Our first lap is going to be on a set of mediums as we acclimatize ourselves to the grip, the car balance, and the overall performance as well. We're going to have to be pretty quick when starting our lap here because there's a few cars immediately behind us. That was a terrible exit from the final corner. We've got Piastri and Gasly. If you look to the top right hand side of your screen, as Max Verstappen does fastest lap, we have moved the mini-map, so now you can actually fully see it when we are driving around, and my webcam is no longer blocking it. As also goes up the inside of us as we're starting our qualifying lap, and we've had a big snap of oversteer on the curb as we was looking behind and being a bit distracted by what happened there. That is a disaster when starting our lap, far from what we needed. And now through the left-hander, just about keeping it in bounds of the track limit, rising up through the middle sector down 2 gears. We're going to have to try and maximize the rest of this lap for the learning capability that it can provide. Of course, these medium tires is not what we should be qualifying on. It's just a learning and understanding the track's grip potential as we're arriving towards the end of the middle sector now. And it has been a pretty decent middle sector overall. Of course, the first sector was absolutely diabolical with the incident with Oscar, as well as the big oversteer we had in corner 2. But this lap doesn't really mean much in all honesty. It's just a good feeler for where we can be. We go provisionally P10, but that's going to be nowhere in all honesty. We lost at least half a second, if not more, in corner 2 on the previous lap. First lap on the sauce, final lap of the session. I'm a bit worried as there's a lot of AI cars peeling out of the pit lane, as you can see on the minimap at the top of the screen. So, fingers crossed they do not get in our way, as that would be a disaster. But we can't control that. All we can do is control our apexes for now. Into turn 1, hook the car up, pretty nice on the rotation. Corner 2, we hit a bit of a bump again, but was able to control the car this time. Up into 8th gear, 7 temps has been found in the first sector alone. Down into 5th gear, let the car rotate, quite a bit of understeer on this occasion. We'll have to remember that for the full qualifying session. Indeed, there are cars up ahead of us, and we are going to have to probably navigate them on our qualifying lap. That is far from ideal, as the AI normally are not that good at getting out the way of the the human player. Stroll got out the way there. That was quite nice of him, and that was least of the distraction. So that was as good of a situation as it could have been. Still not ideal to have the car distracting us a little bit, but that is what it is. These things can happen. We have gone 1.1 seconds faster, but we are going to run out of battery a bit sooner, so we're going to lose a bit of time, and losing overall so much time on the run up to the line, and it is only a 7.1, putting us provisionally P11 on the grid as we got out of the way of Lance Stroll there. Not ideal at all. We actually end up all the way down in 14th position, but only 2 temps away from taking P9 ahead of Lewis Hamilton. So we're still in the fight. We still have the capabilities. We just need to put the laps together in a better way. Right, very interesting here. We have two options available to us. We have 12 laps on the softs or 12 laps on the hards. Both are pretty much having the same total race time. So that's going to be very, very difficult. Let's take a little sneak peek at what the AI are doing. It's actually pretty mixed. Well, pretty mixed. I say that as only 2 cars on the medium compound tire. I think I'm going to follow the AI on this one. I want to try and save my medium tires for the race. But that being said, we're going to take a little bit of fuel out of the car. This is a setup that we're running. It's just taken from time trial, in all honesty. And we're going to be cracking on and trying to maximize this first lap to get up the grid. And it is going to be 5 lights and lights out, and away we go. Half decent start, a lot of wheel spin on the second phase, as now we're going to be looking down the inside of the AI in turn 1. Big rear locking, but was able to catch the car in that situation right in the slipstream of Albon. We're pretty high on the wing, so the AI are probably going to trounce us in a straight line, and yes, they are indeed. Down the inside of a few cars though, AI side by side up the road. That is a McLaren and a Ferrari battling, and that maybe will give us an opportunity to sneak up the inside of Hamilton if they run slowly through this double right-hander. Doesn't seem like they are overly slow, but in the braking zone we have the opportunity to put the car down the inside. And now, oh, there was a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact with me and Hamilton. That was completely my fault. I did turn in too early there, and then we were just able to get the position. Let's take a quick look at that to see the contact between me and Hamilton. You can see Hamilton didn't do anything wrong. I just turned in a bit too early, anticipating him to back out, in all honesty. But that's quite nice and quite entertaining that the AI didn't, in all honesty. So now we have found our way up into P9 after starting P14 on the grid. Let's see how these tyres are going to evolve during this sprint race. Of course, we're down on straight line speed versus the AI, so we need to be pretty careful of our battling into turn 1, how we deploy the DRS. DRS is enabled side by side with Hamilton through turn 1. Big snap up and oversteer on the curb, but able to hang it round the outside of him to keep the position. A big twitch on the curve again. DRS is enabled. We've got Lance Shaw up ahead. AI battling again. That may give us the opportunity to close in and to be very efficient. Yellow flags behind us, and there is going to be a car retiring. Let's quickly have a quick look at that. I can't tell who it was. Let's go off-board camera to see if we can spot anyone, and that is going to be a Mercedes. Is that George Russell or Lewis Hamilton? It's Lewis Hamilton retiring. So he made contact on lap 1, and he's immediately retiring from the race on lap 2. Probably won't be a safety car. We've had terrible luck with safety cars being deployed on this season, so I doubt a safety car will happen now, in all honesty, as we're all over the back of Lance Stroll. We probably could have had a look up the inside there. I didn't anticipate the AI to be so slow on the apex. We need to maintain that gap to Alex Albon, otherwise he'll be able to fly past us on the straight line speed and make us use our battery deployment. He's only 3/10 behind, and that is not a million miles away. Hopefully we can get away with not using too much battery on this straight. AI are already derating. Derating is when the ERS is turned off. You can see when they're flashing lights on the rear of the car. That means they are not deploying electrical energy anymore, and that means they're not going to have optimal top speed performance to sneak past Mr. Stroll. Can we go around the outside here? That was not expected, but somehow we're going to make that work. I was not expected to make that move in that situation, but we have just about able to clinch it and get ahead in to P8. Our higher wing seems to be paying off very favourably in the middle sector, but big snaps of oversteer have cost us that opportunity to be even closer, and the rear tyres are starting to suffer. 8/10 behind Max Verstappen. Big snap of oversteer as we come down the hill. I would presume my rear tyres are starting to overheat, and they're starting to go away from me. 105 degrees, indeed they are starting to overheat. And now we have to be careful. Our battery, we're down to 20%. And the AI is out of the DRS window up ahead of us as well. That's not ideal. We need to send it in turn 1 to try and get that DRS detection back. We may have just about done it. It was literally on the cusp of the detection point. But with Lance Stroll all over the back of us again, we're going to have to deploy battery and hope that he doesn't battle us. He is going to battle us. And going down into the corner. There was a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact in the braking zone, but that was all a-okay. We have dropped out of the DRS of Verstappen. Now Lance Stroll's going up the inside. We're going to let him go because I want to try and use his DRS now to recharge my battery and to try and recuperate where we are in this race. Mr. Albon is trying to attack us down the pit straight, but he backs out of it. Actually, no, he doesn't back out of it. Side by side into turn 1. And now hanging it around the outside. Oh my god, there was contact. And it spun. What was that? I've never seen that with the AI in that way before. I've seen them spinning, but I've never seen them make contact when spinning. That was nuts. So now going on board with Albon, you can see he just spins and then it hits our front tire in the process. That's crazy. I've never seen that before. Wow, wow, wow. But that has cost us a lot of time to Lance Stroll. There's still a yellow flag in Sector 1. I'm surprised there hasn't been a safety car, in all honesty. Alex Albon still is not moving. Alex Albon has been disqualified from the session. Wow. This car must have been stuck. We missed the apex quite considerably there. We've got Fernando Alonso over the back of us. We're going to have to play this pretty smart. The AI will turn off their battery up ahead, but we are pretty much defenseless from Fernando Alonso into turn 1. That's the goal, that's the target, as now Gasly is flying past us. Having to go around the outside of him. But again, with the two Aston Martins seemingly having great pace, it's a bit risky for us. And they might be streaking clear if we're not just completely careful here. If we spend too much time fighting other cars, it might be lights out and points are not available. As Alonso is going to have DRS to Lance Stroll, what's going to mean we're pretty much defenseless to keep in his DRS as Gasly goes flying around the outside of us. Ending lap 8. It's going to be the same situation with Ocon, in all honesty. On the softs, we just don't have the pace. No point even fighting in turn 1. We're just going to cost ourselves. Yellow flag. Safety car would be a dream. Nope. It's being cleared up. Of course, we're not going to get a safety car. Right, Hulkenberg has now closed in to our DRS. So he doesn't have it right now on the straight, but the following straight and the following laps he will, providing he doesn't make a mistake or we continue to have a lack of rear stability. That was a big snap of oversteer. 108 degrees on the rear right tyre. It is not looking good, but to salvage some positives from it, at least we have saved that set of medium compound tyre for the actual race distance, because the soft tyre is diabolical for us and is lacking a lot of grip, stability and performance on the throttle. Just barely can even tickle the throttle in the middle sector without getting wheel spin. Right now on the pitch straight, there's not much we can do with the battery on this straight. My best chance is to try and play a little bit of games with Hulkenberg here and then use DRS on the following straight to get him back maybe. So we're going to try and look up the inside, scare him in the mirror. It doesn't really work. And now for the right-hander onto the straight, we do have a little bit of battery left, but Hulkenberg's straight line speed is way too quick, and Ricciardo's going to go down the inside. We're going to brake late and go round his outside here, but we're probably also at risk of losing the DRS from Hulkenberg here and losing P13 on the run up to the start-finish line to be finishing the sprint race. And just get these soft tyres off the car. They are toast. Carlos Sainz wins the race. Let's see if we have enough gap to Daniel Ricciardo to hold the position. It's probably going to get a little bit tight at the start-finish line. You can see him closing in rapidly now, and it's only going to be 1.8 tenths separating us.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
So P13 not ideal, but at least we have those medium tires for the actual race later on. We have started qualifying. We have started qualifying with a lubrication error. I've never seen that before. Not the ideal way to be starting our session. 2 sets of softs, 1 set of mediums, but we're not going to use those. We're going to be saving those for the main race if we can. Right then, first qualifying lap of the full session. Flying down into turn 1. Let's see what we can do. Pretty nice at the apex flipping point. Through turn 2, good minimum speed as well. Bit of understeer over the curb, but was able to keep it in the track limits. Running up to the end of sector 1. Very successful lap so far. Feeling pretty good in the car, in all honesty. Right, sorry about that. My door went and I had to take a package. So we don't have flashbacks on, so I'm in the middle of the corner, and this is going to be a bit difficult. Was able to control the car pretty nicely, actually. Didn't lose much time. That was lovely done. Lovely jubbly. Anyway, getting back into it. Down the 2 gears, rotate the car in. As a banker lap, especially while having to go onto my door, this has been pretty successful. Oh, big snap of oversteer there. Didn't seem like it, but we had to counter steer over the curb. And now running up to the start-finish line, it is going to be our first lap. Let's see if we can go above P15. P14 will be good. We're P20. What? What? Okay, that's not good. That is not good. Alright, let's see where we actually are off the pace. So, yeah, we're 1 second slower than the AI right now. That is not what we needed to be hearing. There's not really much I can think to do on the setup for this lap either. So we're just gonna have to absolutely send it and try to put the lap of our lives together to be maximizing our opportunities. So, here we go then. P21 currently on the grid. We're going to have to be locking in for this final lap. We've got a bit of clear road ahead of us and a little bit of a gap behind. So, it is time to lock in. It is time to put the lap of the weekend in so far and to be putting the ERS mode up, the DRS mode enabled and running up the start-finish line. Here we go. Beautiful turn 1, turn 2. That was much nicer than before. Running to the end of the first sector. Attempt up. Touched the grass in the braking zone, but was able to commit to the corner still. Didn't lose any time. Oh, we spun! No! Oh! That is a... Okay, we should get off the racing line here for the AI. Oh, no! Oh! We was just pushing too hard. Damn, damn, damn. Okay. Yeah, just pushing too hard. Tried to use too much of the track. Trying to make up time. And ended up clipping 2 wheels on the grass. Not ideal at all. So that's going to be session over for us. And we're going to be starting the race down in P21. The only thing I can think right now to salvage the situation is to be putting in a fresh engine, taking some grid penalties, and then, of course, it's not going to hamper us, but then we get better power from the rest of the season. So there we go. Charles Leclerc on the pole position. We are down in P21. Even with the spin, we still out-qualified Brendon Leigh by by 1.1 seconds. So that, at least that's something, you know. So what we're going to do is just put a fresh engine in. We're going to take a penalty for all the parts and going to be making the best of that bad situation from qualifying to be maximizing the rest of the season's opportunities.
Back of the grid, not great, I know, but let's just try and use the first lap to push your way up the order.
Cheers for the reminder, engineer. I know it was not great, but somehow we're still P21 because the other Brendon Leigh, it's going to get a bit confusing with two Brendon Leighs next to each other, must have taken grid penalties as well. We're going to take a little bit of fuel out of the car, and we're going to be starting on the medium compound tyre, going to hard later in the race. But it is going to be very, very critical to be getting a good launch here, a good first lap. And we got a lot of wheel spin. That is not an ideal initial getaway. But can we be making something up with the AI? We have to be a bit desperate on lap 1 here to get ourselves back into a fighting contention for early race points. Or to be putting ourselves in the position to be getting points later in the race. I should be saying up to P14 already. That was pretty smoothly done. Hulkenberg's going on the attack. We're going on the attack of Bottas as well. It was more of a defense that turned into attacking position to utilize that position there. Perez on the softs. We're on the mediums, thank the Lord, because I don't think I could do another race on the soft compound tyres. Looking around the outside of Alex Albon, actually hitting the back of him a little bit there. So we need to calm it down, but we're not going to do that for a little while because we're going to take the position. Thank you very much. A little bit away from the points paying positions right now, with still a healthy amount of battery. We have to remember our lessons from the sprint race on how we go about our battery deployment. The harvesting is not that powerful, but we have to make sure that we do not drop behind cars in this early phase of the race. Now Alex Albon's looking around the outside. Look at that straight line speed difference. Late on the brakes, bit of a front left lockup, but able to retain the position. Now running through the DRS, up in P12 with a decent chunk of battery available to us still. Perez harvesting up ahead, don't need to defend from Alex Albon. Even so, we still went wide. That was a disaster of a corner. Right, was able to hold pretty close to Perez in that middle sector, so that's promising. And we don't need to be using too much battery to defend from Alex Albon either. So that is double promising for us going down into turn 1. Now just trying to modulate that front left locking. Very easy to do as we got a bit of bottoming over the inside curbing there. But let's see if we can replicate last lap and try and stay nice and close to Checo Perez. Look at this. We're all over the back of the Red Bull on our medium compound tyres. So the change of tyre compound from the sprint race to the main race seems to be paying its dividends right now and paying off for us. DRS open, but we're not really in a position to capitalise on Perez. I think we have better chances to try and go for the overtake in the middle sector. Gasly has lost the DRS to the cars ahead as well, so we need to play that smartly to try and make sure that we don't lose touch with the leaders if we can help it. 10% on the rear right already. Albon's not in a position to be attacking us. Right, are we close enough to Perez? We're going to take a look down the inside. We're just going to get the move done, clambering over the inside curbing. But this is where the fight really begins. We have to nail this final corner to ensure that we don't have to use too much of our battery down the pit straight. If we overconsume the battery now, it's going to leave us vulnerable for the rest of the lap, possibly rest of the stint, to being re-overtaken by the whole train of cars. Perez gaining us quick as we put the battery to none, to be harvesting back the battery. But one more straight and we might be home and dry and able to keep the position ahead of Checo Perez down the straight. He's deploying a little bit, but he decided not to attack us. That is good news for us. Through the left hand, the back on the power, pretty close to Ocon, closer to Ocon than we was to Perez last lap. So we need to be thinking quite smart about how we're going to do this. Whether we just attack Ocon immediately or we try to build up the battery. To be honest, I think it might be better just to be building up that battery level, not going for the moves too soon, and not leaving us in a vulnerable position as a net result of that. And Checo Perez is on the prowl, is on the attack, and now side by side going into turn 1, using a little bit of my overtake button to try and keep our car in contention for the battle. And we have gone up the inside, retained the position. Checo has had a bad run from turn 2, so that has worked out quite positively for us as we're running down to the end of sector 1. Much higher on battery compared to last lap. We're probably not a million miles away from being able to send it on Ocon like we sent it on Checo Perez. Oh, he's going on the attack now. Caught me completely off guard as we go around the outside of corner 4 on the track. There wasn't contact, just wheel spin as I was trying to get back to the power ASAP, and that's put us on the back foot versus Ocon and Gasly up ahead. But fair play, I was not expecting the attack from the AI there. Right, we're nice and close to Ocon, but we are again low on that battery percentage. So we have to be thinking about our actions pretty carefully right now to make sure that we don't leave ourselves vulnerable in the later phases of the stint. Ready for you this time, mate. We're not going to be letting you go down the inside. You're going to have to go around the outside. He backs out of that, but still close enough to make us use our battery. What is not optimal. We might have to think about putting a move on Ocon here. Right, 24%. Let's see if that battery comes on. It does go off. The flashing light is indicating. Gonna go around the outside of corner 1. A bit of wheel banging. Trying to keep our car in contention. And we've just squeezed up the inside of Esteban Ocon and got the move done. Checo and Ocon are side by side. Ocon is actually falling behind Checo. Gasly is 1 second ahead of us. So we need a pretty good middle sector here to retain that DRS capability. As we've broken DRS, the car's behind. We did take our first corner cut warning there. And now he's going to be quick on the straight, but we have DRS enabled. He's still pulling away from us though. That's insane how quick their straight line speed is. Now we're able to start closing in as the straight developed. Through corner 2 again, big snap of wheel spin. This is not ideal. This is not ideal. As now we're going to be falling away from the DRS of Pierre Gasly. Maybe not, no. Maybe we can have a great middle sector and keep up with him. We're pushing hard, but the rear tyres are just not going to be giving us the information, the grip, the traction, the confidence that we need at this point of the stint. Why is the force feedback turned off? Oh my god. So we're going through the right-hander and yeah, the force feedback just turned off. So there's not really much we could have done in that situation, but unfortunately it has cost us a lot of time to Gasly and cost us a lot of time to Albon. I think Albon and Perez were probably going to catch us anyway, but yeah, that's just not, it's not very nice having it's not nice having that kind of issue in the middle of the race. Now we have to sort of recuperate where we were and try to rebuild back up again. Okay, this is not ideal. Far from ideal right now. There is a yellow flag. Come on, who's retiring? Please be a safety car. You've got to be a safety car. Be so nice if it is. Nico Hulkenberg is out. But it's not going to be a safety car, I don't think. No, it's not. Unlucky. There's another yellow flag. Where is the yellow flag? What is happening? Oh, that's what's happening. Albon is out of the race. Again, I don't think that's going to cause a safety car. And because we overtook Albon before the DRS line, we didn't even get the benefit of DRS. Was going to put us in a bit of a tricky position with Checo Perez. I think we're going to have to probably box on this lap. Hope that he doesn't. Because, yeah, it's going to be very difficult to be catching up to his DRS. considering he's in a Red Bull. We're in the slowest car by multiple seconds per lap. Right, boxing this lap is 1 lap earlier than we were scheduled to, but I think it is the right decision. Perez boxes as well, not ideal for us. Big rear locking going into pit lane, but was able to get the car slowed down successfully. And now we are going into our pit stall. Let's see where we can go. Purple, nice and optimal. Checo is on the hard compound tyre as well, and we had a slow pit stop to be topping off the troubles of our race so far. Now on pit exit. Let's see where we can go, what we can do for the remainder of this race. Big oversteer on pit exit, almost into the wall. We're going to have a clear track, but Yuki Tsunoda is going to be behind us by underneath 1 second. But Yuki Tsunoda in our DRS pretty close behind us, and that is going to be a slam dunk overtake for him. But maybe, just maybe, we can use him to DRS leapfrog closer to the cars ahead. It's pretty ambitious, but maybe, just maybe, it can work. We're currently in P13 in the race. I presume someone still needs to box, because Checo was in the points, and now Checo is P11. So if my maths is correct and my gut feeling is correct, there is still someone yet to box, what will be promoting us up into P12. So chance of points is still on the table. Interestingly, Yuki Tsunoda is closing up to Checo Perez, it seems. So this has been a good decision, letting Yuki Tsunoda go ahead of us on his medium compound tyres. What naturally should be worse than my hard compound tyres.
Some information on Perez. They've got some kind of mechanical problem.
Yippee! Let's go, baby! That's what we need to be hearing. That is lovely, jubbly. But as I was saying, Yuki's tyres should go off before mine later in the race, allowing us to capitalise and possibly take that position off him as the race concludes, but also taking the advantage of he is probably the faster car right now, so we're able to save battery, save tyres, and still travel at a decent rate of knots per lap. There we go. Checo is now falling away from the Alpine up ahead of him. We don't want to attack Tsunoda. I think this Perez situation will present an interesting challenge, because we don't really want to get caught behind Checo in the middle sector. Clearly he's lacking pace. Clearly he's lacking something right now. Maybe damage on the car. If we can overtake him cleanly on the DRS straight, I think that'll be optimal. Well, I know that will be optimal. Let's see if Yuki Tsunoda, I think he will have the DRS to Checo Perez. He does indeed. So we need to see what Yuki Tsunoda is going to be able to do. He turns off his battery. That is not good. I really need Yuki to be pushing in this situation, to be overtaking Perez on this straight, to be minimizing any time loss. Let's see if he will go for it. Let's see if he's going to capitalize on the opportunity. Doesn't look like it. Looking like he's going to stay behind for now. What might mean that we need to overtake possibly one of them in the middle sector. So I don't think I have the straight line speed to overtake both of them down the next straight. Or if Checo's leading the train, I don't think I have the opportunity to be third in the train and then still overtake Checo from there. So we're going to go around the outside of Yuki Tsunoda. It doesn't quite work out there, but we're going to go down the inside here, take the position, actually make a little bit of contact to Checo Perez there, but was able to get away with it. We've got 3 seconds to Esteban Ocon up the road. So I predict that we should be able to get past Checo on this straight here. Hopefully then we should be able to continue working with Yuki Tsunoda to be closing in on the points paying positions. Look at that straight line speed from Yuki. This is what I was worried about. Yuki, you can take the train. Oh my god, we're 3 wide. I did not expect us to still be 3 wide. That deserves a replay. Let's be taking a little look at that then. So you can see, I thought Perez was going to back out of it, and there was actually wheel-to-wheel contact between all three cars here, going down into turn 1. Probably more my fault than anything, because I kind of came from the middle of the road when I should have been staying tighter to the left. But as I was saying, I didn't anticipate for Perez to keep his car in the middle of us. So, very robust from Perez, to say the least, in the middle sector now. 5.7 to Gasly, 3.5 to Ocon, but luckily Ocon is on that medium compound tyre, so there's still hope for us to be catching him. Yeah, I mean, we can't fight Yuki here. Come on, beep, get on with it, because he's going to be down the inside anyway. Better for me just to save my battery, maybe bring down my tyre temps a little bit. Hopefully Yuki can have pace to be catching the cars ahead. Just because I know if I try to overtake Yuki, well, he's just let me past anyway. So we've been lost a lot of time during that whole process. Of course, we let Yuki through, assuming that it was going to take the initiative, take the lead, and try to work together, possibly to catch Ocon. But he's absolutely bottled it at the first turn, and has gone wide, allowing us back in front of him. But the DRS has not been broken, so it's going to be a rinse and repeat again, and it's going to cost us even more time, because I reckon Yuki's going to try and re-overtake us on the pit straight, especially as the tyres dead away.
The safety car,
come on!
Car is out.
Come on!
To form up at reduced pace. Keep a close eye
Put
on
on
that
those mediums.
Time. Make sure to keep it positive. Okay,
Put
the
on
officials
those.
have deployed the safety car due to multiple cars being stopped on track. Mind your delta.
There are no cars stopped on track. Wait. First of all, there are 0 cars stopped on track. Look at this. Well, I have to pause it because obviously it'll run out of time on the replay. But there are 0. Oh, wait. Is that Perez? It's Max. Max spun at turn 1. Max spinning brought out the safety car. Ah, that is lovely jubbly for us. That is lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you again. That is such good news for us. Okay. We need a good pit exit here. Shame that the safety car didn't pick up the leaders. Otherwise, we'd have had an outrageously good pit stop there. But hopefully, the AI don't box.
Okay, overtake.
The AI are not boxing. The leaders are not boxing anyway. As you can see the minimap at the top of the screen. We have probably only 8 laps to make up a lot of positions, but with a tyre advantage, we should be in prime position to do that. Let's go, baby. There we go. AI have gone. So we can't overtake before the start-finish line. So having to lift on the straight against Logan Sargent. There we go. Now the AI picked up their speed. Don't want to use too much of my battery. Down the inside of 2 cars in the end of Lance Stroll, Logan Sargent. Again, I know my straight line speed is going to be suboptimal, so I'm going to try and use a strategy of not using my battery against these lower down cars, so we can maximize it later in the stint. Well, the race, as we've got a handful of laps to go. Try get up the inside. I can't get up the inside of Bottas there. We'll have to do it in the braking zone. Maybe Ricciardo as well. No, too far. If Bottas wasn't in our way there, I reckon we could have got past Ricciardo. Now looking around the outside, trying to claim the space. We just about did claim the space. Can we get up the inside of K-Mag? Yes, we can. We're pretty much back to where we started in this, well, before the safety car, that is. Right up behind Checo Perez. Checo Perez must still have that damage or the issue with his car. The DRS will be enabled at the start of next lap, and we have a lot of opportunity to work our way forward. Just have to be careful not to overuse our battery too early. Was thinking about a lunge there. Not worth it though. We have to just manage our sort of situation here. Use our battery too early will be a sitting duck later on, and we won't be able to capitalize on what we should be able to do. I think my plan is stay nice and close, overtake Checo into this braking zone on the right-hander up here, and then try to get Yuki later in the middle sector as well. So commencing the plan down the inside, big of rear locking, just able to avoid contact though. Fast through the left-hander, all over the back of Yuki. Down the inside, taking the extra position, just a little bit away from points paying positions now, coming towards the end of lap 32. The race leader of the McLaren seems to have bolted away, and the Ferrari has fallen a few seconds. What might make a downfall of chaos later in the pack that may help us with some DRS trains and people battling around the outside of Esteban Ocon. He's not using his battery deployment, so it's going to make it easier for us. Verstappen has a 10-second penalty. The championship leader has had his first crack of the season. Happened to use battery down the straight, so Ocon doesn't get side by side with us. AI 3 wide up ahead, and that is a bit juicy. Not just a bit juicy, very juicy. That's for the podium paying position. We can see the podium up ahead of us. This has brought our race to life. And now going to go around the outside of Gasly. Just didn't have enough grip there. Going to go around the outside here instead though. We do have the grip for this one. And now maybe we can go up the inside of Max Verstappen. We're going to send it up the inside, just about threading the needle and getting the position done. He has a 10-second time penalty, so points are almost impossible for Max Verstappen right now. P7 of George Russell up the road, and now we should be just further ahead of enough of Max that he doesn't use his battery to attack us. But I might be speaking too soon. I'm not speaking too soon. Thankfully he doesn't. He does have the fastest lap of the race though, into the left-hander. Full lap to try and get these positions done. Not many laps to go in the race. Going to try and do my normal strategy. Max is using his overtake button. Okay, he stopped. Lucky for us. I thought Max was going to try and attack us into the left-hander here. Nice and close to track limits. Going to do the same trick on George Russell up the inside of the right-hander if we can stay close enough. Do you know what? We're just going to send it anyway. We're going to try and maximize our opportunity down the inside. Stay nice and close to Alonso for the left-hander. And then get up the inside of the hairpin. And that is going to be plan well executed. Oh, what was looking like a pointless race has turned into a big haul against our championship rivals. Look at that, all over the back of Carlos Sainz right now. That is 2 cars, and then we're possibly in the podium paying positions if we can hang on to it, if we can retain it until the end of the race. You can see not really in a position. Maybe we are in a position to send it down the inside of turn 1. We do go for it. We get the position done. This is full class send it mode right now. Have to use the overtake button to stop Carlos Sainz coming back at us. He is going to come back at us anyway. He's going to go around the outside, but we have the better tyres. We brake later and retain our position. It's the penultimate lap of the race, and we are running out of battery deployment very quickly. And against the fastest cars on the grid, our straight line speed is going to be further exposed. But if we have a good left-hander here, maybe we can get up the inside of Sir Lewis Hamilton. We are going to be able to get up the inside here, and that is Piastri for the podium. One more place to go. Can we get it? Can we get a podium-paying position after such a dreadful pace all weekend long? What an ending this has been. Lewis might be too far to try and attack us into turn 1, but I'm not ruling out anything with the straight line speed of that AI. Now running down into the first corner, not close enough to really send it on Piastri. Well, we were close enough, but I don't think it would have been smart to. I think we're better placed to sort of stay behind him right now and lunge and attack in the middle sector, and then try to hang on the start-finish line to be taking that podium-paying position. We've got a few quarter cut warnings to play with, but we just have to make sure we stay close to Piastri as Hamilton is closing in on us. This is going to be a drag race to the line. critical few corners here in the GP. Can we get close to Piastri here? We are close. Come on. This is what we need. Down inside for the podium paying position. But this is where the defending starts. We need a phenomenal final corner here because he's going to have DRS and the straight line speed advantage. We go a bit deep, actually, and we are going to be running up to the start-finish line. Our battery is not very charged, and Piastri is going to be all over the back of us, and he's going to be behind us, actually. He doesn't go for it. He does go for it. We lose it on the line. No.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
That was so close. What an ending. Driver of the day, though. Let's go. Oh, what an ending that was. How close was that?
All the excitement of Formula One.
Why did it all show us? I pressed advanced. Advanced was meant to show me the
Team's income
results.
is looking very robust right now. It's time for you to have a think about our profit margin.
I choked
and what
it.
areas
I
of the
choked
operation
it.
might benefit from
I
that money.
choked it. I meant to press like see results, not advanced. Okay, oh well. It was 4th place in the end, but not ideal. I would have liked to see how close that was over the start-finish line. It must have been a few thousandths of a second, but we have been able to close in on George Russell on that race, I think, anyway. We definitely finished ahead of him, so that's very strong. We've extended the gap to Aston Martin, but yeah, Lando Norris is pretty secure in P2 right now, but we've got a handful of races to go, and we are not going to be giving up on any fight. That final few laps brought our championship chances for P2 back alive when it was looking very, very, very unlikely. So there we have it. Our race came back alive with that lucky late race safety car. Thank you so much to Max Verstappen for causing that. You are my hero. That brought the race back alive and really made those final laps so enjoyable. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Brendon Leigh, and I look forward to catching you in the next episode. Grazie, ciao, ciao, bye bye.